Thanks, everyone. We're going to call to order the Troy Industrial Development Authority Board of Directors meeting. It is December 15th, 2023. It is 10:10 a.m. We're going to start with, well, just to clarify, we have some absences today. We do have a quorum. We're going to start with the approval of minutes from the November 17th, 2023 board meeting. Is everybody here?
Yep. Capital. Oh, sweet.
Any questions or comments on the minutes, or do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Sasha. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed? Great.
I have to abstain.
Oh, Josh has to abstain.
Yep.
And Sue. I just looked, I swear. Sorry, wrong.
Wait.
Are we in IDA or CRC?
We're
IDA.
IDA. How many do we have? We're back to not having two people abstain, right?
That may allow the minutes to pause until January.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Damn it, Josh.
You can't help it. You can't be in two places at once. Yeah.
All good.
Luckily, that doesn't affect any of our
Voting or,
attendees here
yeah,
today.
good. All right.
On to Dylan with the Executive Director's report.
First, let me just thank everybody for doing this. I don't know what's happening in the future, but if I'm not here at the table with all of you guys, I just want to say thank you. And I know that there's a potential that you might not be here as well at this table, and you're certainly going as far away as possible, it sounds like. So thank you, Jim, for everything you've done for this neighborhood, the community, and for everybody.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure working with everybody here, so thank you. There is training that I think needs to get done. Danae, can you remind me what it is from an administrative standpoint we need to do?
On the ABO?
Yeah.
Alex completed his, so he's done.
Good.
I think everybody else already did theirs. But there's a webinar they do, it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Okay, so we'll check the spreadsheet, and we'll let everybody know if there's anything that needs to get done still. And that should do it. Quick.
Oh, that was quick. Great.
Yeah.
On to,
Saying I'm normally too long. Okay.
On to new business. We're going to start with the sales tax exemption extension for Red Tail Troy LLC.
Yeah, it's a project we closed last December down on River Street. I think Don LaRosa and his team are redeveloping that project. They had an agent agreement and sales tax exemption that runs through the end of this year. They need a little bit more time to finish up the apartments and get everything fully equipped, so they asked for an extension, which Dylan is able to provide on an administrative basis. So this one's more of an update to the board, just because the project's ongoing and taking a little bit more time than they originally anticipated.
Does everybody remember which project this is? 171 River Street it was the Riverwalk. Did they change the name of the building, or is it?
It's the ownership name is Troy Redtail now, for whatever reason.
Like a hawk? Okay.
Yeah, something.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
It's got a little bit of a piece of land that is by Front Street on the riverside, and then on River Street is what's facing.
It's the one building that hasn't been redone on that block so far, so it's exciting to see it get done. It could be really nice.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, with extensions like this, do you do it by month, quarter by quarter?
Year?
Usually just give them another year,
Yeah.
because you have to wrap it up and,
Otherwise, we have to do it
report
again.
back.
That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to, yeah, great. Okay. Thanks for the update on that. On to, we have a project to look at, an application for sales tax exemption for 30756 Avenue. You want to review that?
They don't need a full-on pilot. It's a smaller project. They're looking for help with sales tax exemption, and so this is a bit of an easy one. It's going to be, I think, what is it, a $300,000 project, $400,000 project around there?
It's almost.
We have people here.
Yeah,
from
actually, it's 925.
Oh, it's 925, okay. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about your project? Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Emily Streeter. I'm one of the members of 3075. That is the entity that owns 3075 in Troy. And it was previously used as a rectory. So the building is set up, it's a 2-story brick building. It's set up dormitory style right now. And we have plans to convert the property to apartments. We have gone through all of the went through the ZBA, we've done our due diligence on every aspect of the project, and this is one of the last outstanding items that we'd like to request. But we did get ZBA approval, on the variance to be able to convert it to a multifamily. But right now, our estimated, construction value is going to be about $690,000. We are requesting today a tax exemption, to help support the project, so we can bring it to completion, within the next 12 months.
It's really great to see you guys progressing. I know we spoke probably about a year ago for the first time,
Yeah.
and you guys have gone a long way since then, so thank you for sticking with it. I know that's been an easy project for you guys. Yeah?
I should jump in too. My name is David Downer. I'm also a member of the project, also the owner of Shade Contracting, LLC, a local construction company. So we'll be doing a lot of renovation. We do, a local company start out based out of Troy, do a lot of renovations in Troy. We also do now a lot of commercial and residential renovations all around the capital district. So we've done very large jobs. We've done a lot of housing jobs. We just finished a job for the Chase and Schenectady. So as far as the execution and the construction, I think I just wanted to say a couple other things to piggyback on Emily. I know we'll be able to officially get everything done. So it's not gonna be a project that lingers on and on and on. We're actually already at the point where they approved the, permits, everything's approved, drawings finally got approved, all the other legwork. So right now, we're just seeing if we can bring it in and keep the cost down, just given the environment with everything right now with all the material and everything going on. And then we're trying to also pursue some other additional, energy efficiency credits. Looking to kind of basically make something new, a new splash in that north central area. So it'll be a pretty good thing to be added into to piggyback on.
Thank you.
And Danae's got some slides on the screen too for the project specific.
This is actually a presentation that we had given to, planning and zoning when we were requesting the variance from them. Danae, if you could scroll down a little bit, that's just some background on us. So this is the property here. Again, it's currently set up as a dormitory style, but we already have approved, and stamped permit construction drawings, for 14 studio apartments. But that's the property. It sits directly next to, the KIPP Charter School, the former ARC school. And if you scroll down just a little bit more, those are our conceptual drawings for what the studio apartments will actually.
That's awesome. It's hard to reuse those kind of spaces, and so the fact that you guys are doing it, and obviously we hope it's very successful, and if it is, there's a lot more spaces like that we can probably work with you on.
I
Yeah,
appreciate seeing affordable in the description as well.
yep. And it actually meaning affordable.
Yes. Thank you for, coming today.
Which is, to that point, the reason also we're trying to apply for as many credits to keep the cost down to make it.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. We get you on that too.
So this is just for the sales tax exemption on the project. Do we have any more questions from the board?
Just a comment. So I wanted to say I am so glad to see David moving this project forward. You know, known him many, many years and, watched him, over the years and, in different projects. So I just want to say I'm really happy to see something like this in the North Central neighborhood. And, with a solid plan in place to actually, bring it to completion, so.
Absolutely.
Great.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you, Natasha.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
And no opposed. We have a lot of absences, though. Great. Well, congrats, guys. Thank you again for coming in.
Thank you.
Don't feel obligated to stay if you do not want to.
You'll take your time to get downstairs, that's for sure.
It'll be a quick paperwork type thing. We can do it by mail.
Yeah, does that work for you guys?
Well, in terms of closing, there's a couple of agreements that the IDA and you'll enter into to get the sales tax forms and.
We can do it by mail, he's saying, so.
Yeah, we can just.
Do you
do it by mail and.
Do you do counterpart, does it have to be an original, can we even do it by email?
We'll probably just have, we can do FedEx or just, drop stuff off, original signatures. and-
Either works, and
Yeah,
we're here
it's
often
not like
enough,
we're
so
not
we don't mind
working, yeah.
stopping in.
I'm sorry to hear that. You're here at City Hall. Yeah.
Congratulations, and we're sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll follow up, and we can wrap it up before you're ready.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
One quick follow-up, how would it work once you start, construction, like assuming like the permits ready, everything like that?
We'll get into all that when we do the documents and stuff. We can talk with you guys about that. Yep.
Great, on to, that concludes all new business. Let's move on to old business. I don't think there's any open items to discuss right now.
No. There's a couple of things that we're working on, that, as Justin will tell you, we've checked in on a lot of projects that are waiting to close and get started, and it seems like with, interest rates potentially coming down, a lot of people sort of holding off to see if they can do their financing and close on it, as they're trying to play, obviously, the interest rate.
Game, man.
Yeah, which I understand. The problem is that we have like 5 outstanding pilots that have yet to start and actual close on, so I think you're gonna see a lot of things happening Q1, especially if the positive trend right now in the economy continues, and interest rates hopefully come down, and hopefully people don't go nuts and inflation goes back up again. So we'll see what happens, but I think Q1, Q2, you're gonna see a lot of closings.
Thanks, Dylan. That concludes old business. Let's move on to financials with Matt.
Report statement of financial position. As of November 30th, we have total assets of $1,046,613, with $918,814 of that in cash. We had total liabilities of $45,768, which left us with a fund balance of $1,845,000. There was no significant change to statement of financial position in the month of November. And our final report is the statement of activity. For the month of November, we had a deficit of $34,018.26. Those significant sources of income and the largest expense were in our architectural and engineering fees.
Thanks, Matt. Do we have any questions from the board or, a motion to approve the financials?
Motion.
Thank you, Jim.
Second.
Thank you, Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Gotta take it away as the last
I was gonna
meeting.
say, man, we have-
Yeah.
He's going,
All
he's going out, he's
Five, the last
going
time.
out
Hey, you know what?
strongly.
Like I told him last night, I'm going out just the way I came in, just Jim, okay?
With more or less hair?
No comment.
A lot less. Same. But at least there's no scratch marks anymore, like, what the hell am I doing here, you know, kind of thing. You get kind of numb to it after a while.
Did we adjourn all the way?
Well, let's do it.
CRC, I think. and-
Well, no, I mean from the IDA.
No, we didn't.
We have the motion in the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to the Troy, New York Capital Resource Corporation Board of Directors meeting. It's October 20th, 2023. It's 10:24 a.m. We are going to start with the approval of minutes from all the way back to October 2023. So let me refresh with who was here.
Is that the last time the CRC met?
October?
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Oh, it's only a month. All right.
So we do not have.
I should know that off the top of my
They
head.
kind of move quickly these days.
Seriously, like, I don't even know what year it is at the time.
We will, it looks like, from what I'm seeing, Josh, and the notes that according to the minutes, we're not in the meeting, so we will be moving on. So that,
Thanks, Josh.
Oh,
Josh is here, present.
Yeah, it just
Josh
was
was
not-
right there.
Wasn't here in
Sorry.
October.
Yep.
So we do have enough. Great. Do we have any comments?
I'll move for approval.
Thank you, Sue.
Second.
Thanks, Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
On to, Natasha has things from that. Great. We have Dylan, Executive Director's report.
Everything I said in the last one still stands, so thank you, guys. And also, the amount of money that's been spent over the last couple of years since the last time we did a deal is, we're still in a good financial position, but I think the board should look at other ways to sort of draw, additional revenue towards the CRC at some point, including things like basically it's all through bonding, right? So if there's a nonprofit that has a need for a bond, this is the kind of product that people could be out in the community potentially getting for us. So just think about that from a revenue standpoint. Obviously, the money comes in and it goes right back out to other organizations and projects, so it's a very worthy cause. But the way that we make our money is through bonding, so.
And I think at the last one, I meant to say the board member evaluations, I'm gonna send those out, by email.
That's what it was.
Yeah, not the training. I thought about it afterwards. So you can do it electronically and just send them back like we did in the past, before everybody.
Okay.
Final chance to say how you really feel on the way
Yeah.
out, right?
It's all confidential. I
There you
close
go,
my
Tim.
eyes
She's
and
gonna give you a sheet of everything to say
Third
on it,
chance.
yeah.
Give me 2 copies.
The good and the bad.
Don't submit it in blood. Okay, that concludes the executive director's report. We have sponsorship requests today. We have 2 projects that we're going to, and we have folks from both projects here, and a great packet of information. We're going to start with the Tech Valley Center Gravity 2024 sponsorship, with a request for $5,000. And Dylan, would you like to preempt it?
Is anyone here from the Tech Valley Center of Gravity?
All from RCI.
Yeah, I know. Anybody on,
I
no?
think she was on maternity leave,
Yes, she is,
so she probably
right.
was playing with it.
That's what we're paying, no, sorry. No, I meant that there's gotta be somebody to replace anyway.
Okay.
We've done this in the past before. It's a really fantastic opportunity to get our name, with the CRC, but also the LDC. As some of these businesses, they start up in the Tech Valley Center, Gravity, potentially move forward through the pipeline into an actual space of their own. They come up with their own tech. There's a lot of really cool stuff they do there. Another great sort of piece of this is that there's, the ability for us to then have 2 fobs and then to, use 2 of the Super Maker membership seats as well. And 10% discount on individual family members. And so we're sort of getting a membership, and at the same time, we're gonna have our name, the CRC, up, and then we can also leave our information so that when somebody potentially grows from, a single desk at a co-working space into something once they have their, it's obviously very engineering heavy and tech heavy, so there could be a breakthrough at any time. We want them working with us so we can actually keep them here in Troy. And I think that's sort of an important thing to worry about is the pipeline, right? I mean, people from RBI are here. It's the same sort of idea. Like, we want people staying in Troy. I hope you guys heard that. We want people staying here in Troy and not going off to somewhere else to work. So,
Right.
That's really what this is all about.
I appreciate the membership that you get with that level, but is there a way that we can donate, like, just pass that to someone who needs it, that can't afford it? Do they allow that?
You're such a goody two-shoes. Okay, yeah, I guess we can.
I mean, unless you wanna, like, yeah.
We got a hat at least? No, okay. If we can.
Or can we decline that? Like, I think it'd be better if they have someone who's applying.
It's a fob. It's not like, it's like, the gym membership, It's not like you're taking someone else's spot potentially by being there.
No, it's just that, like, that costs monthly if you're a citizen. Right?
Oh, you mean give somebody a free?
Can they just grant that? Can we just?
We can
ask that they-
sponsor somebody else, you mean? Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'd prefer if these 2 fob memberships just go to someone that, maybe they're not seeing them come back because they can't afford the membership or something.
I already have a fob from the last time anyway, and it still works, so. No, I'm joking. We're good. Yes, I'll talk to somebody who's gonna be taking Rachel's, place while she's on maternity leave, and we'll make sure that we get somebody who needs,
Yeah.
so they can get it for free. That's a great idea. Thank you.
I mean, if everybody supports that,
That's a great, I
I
didn't
don't think
think
the
of it.
board, I'm sorry, but I don't think the board members are gonna
Nope.
be utilizing it as much as like a kid or someone.
The CNC routing machine, come on, man.
The desk now. Great, that's a good overview of, we're all, I think, pretty familiar with this organization. They've come before. Do we have the set amount for the $5,000 bracket? Do we have a, motion to approve the sponsorship?
So moved.
Thank you, Sue.
Second?
Thank you, Sue. All in favor?
Aye.
And no opposed. Great. With the caveat that we'll almost talk about the membership offer that comes with it. Next, we have now we have a full house. We have the RPI Charles Nally Walking Tour project. This is pretty extensive as well in the packet. This is a request for $25 from CRC. And we're gonna, Dylan, would you like to preempt anything before we let them take the floor?
The one thing I'm gonna preempt is that it's not 20,000, it's 29,500. 750, 29,750. I'm just gonna hand it off because these guys are gonna do a fantastic job kind of explaining what the project is, and I think this is a really, really fantastic thing to be supporting in Troy, especially as we talk about community development.
Okay. If you guys don't mind, introducing yourselves before you speak, and, Danae will handle the slides for you.
So my name is Brian Toll. I'm a professor of practice at RPI. I teach in Haas, Humanities, Arts, and Social. And more specifically in a program called DIS, Design Innovation Studio. So Studio B is the course that I've been charged with, and it's a special course of study because it allows for the instructor to bring their expertise to the class, share that knowledge with his students. So in my case, my other job is a public office. So I've made public art projects around the world, all over the United States. When I took the position here at RPI, I introduced the idea of working in the city of Troy with my. And as part of that process, we did walking tours. We walked around the city, looked at the historical landmarks, and came upon a plaque to a man named Charles Knoll, who I, at the time, being a newcomer, knew very little, if anything, about. And we became intrigued with the idea that this was a fugitive slave that was captured in Troy. And through our extensive research, and my students' extensive research, oh, by the way, this is Brian Klein, he's my colleague, teaches in the EIS. And this is Susan, she's one of my students. There's also Sarah and Will on the monitor there watching the meeting. So anyway, so we started going into extensive research and discovered this amazing history of Charles Knoll, a fugitive slave captured in Troy, and then ultimately, through the sponsorship and the cooperation of citizens of Troy, was freed. So the proposal that we put together ultimately is a walking tour where all the significant historical landmarks throughout the city of Troy that presented themselves and unfolded on the day that Charles was very, very violently captured are accessible to the public in a very, very comprehensive way. So I'll turn to Sarah, Benny, and Sue.
Before I get into the project, webmaster, responsible, able to turn up.
Yep, I think she's.
Hi, guys. I think you're waiting for me to talk. Susan, it's just a little hard to hear you. I think you're far away from the microphone. Perfect. Thanks. Okay, so my name is Sarah Bain. I think Susan might have already introduced herself, but I'm a Design Innovation Society major here at Windsor Polytechnic Institute. And so we're going to walk you through this proposal that we have for our project. Yeah. And I think if we can get the slides back, we'll take you through them. And so just above this page, we have the agenda, basically the talking points that we're going to have today. So we'll talk everything from the background, the research, the ideation of this whole experience that we're developing, the project itself, and then the physical designs that we also are implementing as well. So Susan is going to start us off with the project beginnings.
You just do that right there.
Do what?
And I don't know how to move that bar, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Right there. It's all right. Isn't that little down arrow right there next to apps? Isn't that what you hit? Oh, no, it's not. Don't listen to me. I can't even get the name.
Maybe it'll be more. I'll keep figuring it out if you guys want to talk.
Yeah.
I had it going and then it
Because
came back.
it's, in PDF, so the only option is to scroll down.
Yeah.
She's trying to get rid of the black bar.
Go to more.
Don't hit that.
Oh, you pushed it just gently, you shoved it. Great.
Look at that. When all else fails, just shove something, yeah.
Amazing.
Oh,
I'm not gonna touch
Definitely.
it. Go ahead.
Sorry. So as our professor mentioned before, the Charles Knoll Walking Memorial Project started in our Studio B course in the fall of 2022. And at the start of the semester, we were tasked with finding and researching a memorial that caught our attention in the city of Troy. And historically speaking, Troy is a culturally significant area, best known as the hometown of Uncle Sam. But what we didn't know at the time, however, is that it's also where the rescue of Charles Knoll took place. And at the intersection of State Street and First Street, there's a plaque that commemorates Charles' story and his rescue after being arrested under the Fugitive Slave Act.
And we felt that the current plaque does not capture the entire scope of the events and the tremendous courage showed by Charles and the community of Troy leading up to his rescue. And so our Studio B course saw that there is an opportunity for us to more comprehensively highlight and celebrate Troy's meaningful past. And onto our research slide. Our research into the story of Charles Now was led by our professor, Brian Tull, and our Studio B course started by reading Scott Christensen's book. And as we did more analysis into the information we have at hand, we also arranged calls with Mark Priest, who is an art professor at the University of Louisville, who worked extensively on the research of the Underground Railroad and painted a series about Charles' rescue. We also met with Kathy Sheehan, the interim executive director at the Hart Cluett Museum, who was gracious enough to check over the written content we produced for this project. And onto the background about the story of Charles Now. So Charles Now, he is an individual who was born into slavery in Stevensburg, Virginia. Historical records suggested that he is the son of a wealthy plantation owner, Peter Hansbrook, and Lucy, who is Hansbrook's slave. Now decided to make his escape after his wife Kitty and 5 children were freed from a neighboring plantation and moved to Washington, D.C. because Virginia at the time did not allow freed persons of color to live there. And Charles has a great desire to reunite with his family, and eventually he made his escape to Troy, New York through the Underground Railroad. And when he arrived in Troy, he worked for Yuri Gilbert, who is a wealthy carriage maker, as a coachman. And Yuri Gilbert, he is also the former mayor of Troy and also assisted a lot with the events leading up to his freedom. And while running errands for Gilbert at a local bakery one day, Charles was apprehended by a slave catcher, and Blucher Hansbrough, who also happened to be his half-brother. Charles was eventually arrested under the Fugitive Slave Act and was dragged to the commissioner's office, where he was held captive for a few hours. And Harriet Tubman, who happened to be in Troy at the time, took note of what happened to Charles and created a rally to call for his freedom. And to raise awareness, the church bells were rang, and more than 1,000 Troy citizens rallied to help Now escape. And despite his captors and supporters pulling him in all directions, he eventually made it to the Hudson River, where he jumped into the river and made his escape. And while in hiding, Troy citizens, with the leadership of Peter Baltimore and Martin Townsend, they raised $1,000, the equivalent of $40,000 today, to buy Charles' freedom from Blucher Hansbrough. With the help of his community, Charles was freed, and his new status as a freed person of color gave him the opportunity to unite with his wife and children with no legal baggages in Troy. So this is a brief overview of evolution of experience of how we came to the idea of creating a memorial for Charles Now. We saw that a current plaque is lacking information and impact, and we wanted to ideally deliver a more immersive experience which viewers can easily access through their phones. And in summary, the memorial will be an interactive experience through a walking tour with a website where people can easily learn and interact with the story of Charles Now.
That's so cool.
And our design will be appealing to users we will incorporate the work of Mark Priest as supplemental visuals in our website. We also have plaques at important locations across the story for users who will be on the walking tour to visit. And I'll be passing off the presentation to Sarah, who will be talking briefly about the proposal.
Okay, you guys can all hear me, I hope. Okay, perfect. So the purpose of the Charles Now Walking Memorial is to take you back in time through this immersive walking experience. At each of the locations, there will be a bronze plaque, and on that plaque, there will be scannable QR codes, which will link you to the affiliated page on the website. And that website will allow you to take a deep dive into that location and the important moments that happened there in relation to Charles Now's story. And then this website will also include historical photos, marked piece paintings, so it will have a really good ratio of imagery to text. And we're also working on audio components as well to make the website more accessible. And so the goals of this project is ultimately to create an immersive experience, to engage the users and walk them through history, and to bring recognition to a deeply rooted community within Troy, New York. I think that's really important to recognize. So let's take a little bit of a look at the fabrication process that we have. So that's the next slide. Perfect. So there are two main physical components of this project. There's the plaque and there's also the immersive website. So the plaque will be made out of bronze. It will be bronze casted, and it will include a scannable QR code as well as our memorial's logo and the icon to the specific location that it is at. And so the icon, just below this slide, we have our first iteration icons that will be on the plaque. You can see them on the next slide. So these are the icons that there are first iteration icons, which we have further cleaned up and made look just improved. So each location, the imagery of it resembles something that is important to the location. So the Uri Gilbert Mansion is a carriage wheel because Uri Gilbert produced a lot of carriages and so on. And so those will be on each of the plaques based on the location. The next physical property that we'll be talking about is the website. And so this website will act as a virtual link to the past. So each location will have a page on the website including historical images, the marked piece paintings, relevant content, and also, as I mentioned earlier, an audio aspect as well, which we are working on. And so it will be a really great immersive experience. The website will be dynamic. It will have lots of imagery, which will keep our users engaged. And it will also highlight the Troy community in a modern way, while also reflecting on its rich history, which is important. So there are a lot of partnerships that we've had throughout this process, and so we just want to touch on a couple of them. So it's been a long journey since we've started Studio B, so it's really important to recognize our partnerships along the way. The city of Troy has been a huge help, specifically Denis and Dylan, so thank you guys. And they have helped us guide us through this process of what we need to achieve to make this project possible. We also have to thank Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. They're a huge partner in this project as well. They have even offered to host our website. This will further connect RPI and the Troy relationship. We also have to thank Kathy Sheehan at the Hart Cluett Museum. We have been working with her to make sure all of our content is accurate and fully tells the story of Charles Knoll accurately. She's also approved and proofed all of our textual elements for this project already. And then I think Susan is also going to touch on the last few partners that we will talk about.
The artist behind all the visual pieces we'll be using in the website. Mark Priest, he's an art professor at the University of Louisville, and he painted a series called Charles Now, A Fugitive Slave Rescued. We want to thank him because he gave us verbal confirmation and soon written confirmation that we will be able to use his paintings across all of the web pages on our website. And we also want to thank Scott Christensen, the author who wrote the book that we use as our primary source of research in this project, and his wife, Tamar Gordon. Unfortunately, Christensen has since passed on, but his wife, Tamar Gordon, she was gracious enough to help us on our project and gave us the confirmation that she will be voicing some of the text that we will be writing. And finally, we want to give thanks to Silver Crane LLC, who will be the primary fabricator and the entity in charge of the metal plaque and fabrication involved. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to present our project to you today,
So these teams have been working on this project for a year and a half. Started in Studio B, they went on a independent study for a semester, and then they did what we call a URP, which was a paid research. The commitment here has been tremendous. We have tried to, and we have engaged the university. As you probably know, Marty Schmidt, our president, is very keen on reconnecting the university with the city of Troy, and is looking for every opportunity to facilitate that. We have, as you probably know, a bicentennial year coming up this year, 100th anniversary, and we have presented the very same documents that you've seen here to the steering committee for the bicentennial. They unanimously accepted the idea. So we think that this, from a symbolic standpoint, I think reconnecting the city with the university, I think this is a perfect moment to do it with the bicentennial. The Hart Fluid has offered to sponsor the kickoff of this project, and so it's a long time coming, but I think it's a terrific project. I hope you think so too. One of the things I think is really interesting to note is that not all of these locations are still standing. So in the case of the Gilbert Mansion, we all know very well, it's a very prominent house on the park, but the bakery is no longer there, it's a vacant lot. But when the visitor goes to that plaque and is confronted by this vacant space, they will have an image of what that bakery looked like in the 19th century. So it's reconstructing or re-knitting together the history of Troy, and it also gives people an opportunity to explore different neighborhoods within the city that they may not otherwise see. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. It's really great seeing that you guys have come so far, and since we first talked, and just for the record, I had very little to do with it. The students obviously had all this working for a period of time before Danae and I ever went to speak with them. So I can't think of anything else I'd rather do as a last resolution of the year, because this is a great way to reconnect both with our history and also with RPI.
Thanks, Dylan. I have a couple questions, but I want to start with the funding request for $29,750. Is there, right now, are you finding that anyone else, like, are you bringing this in front of other entities for funding support?
Not yet.
Got it.
I'll say that we won't.
And also, you should solicit Josh to solicit his father, Sam Chapone, I imagine something like stainless steel functions within the RPI School of Engineering Fabrication Department, probably be donated with just the cost of material. And just a statement, I didn't know that about Tamar's husband. She was a fantastic influence on me when I was at school. But yeah, that's it.
Continues to be so. The IDA actually has a project that involves 5 State Street. It's part of 16 First, which is slight and dirty now, transitioning to something else. When Jeff Buell bought those buildings and redeveloped them, it was with IDA assistance, and we still have a pilot on 5 State.
That's the residential up top.
Yeah, when he was gutting both of them, I went in the basement into the cell.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It's still there, iron gates, brick ceiling, it's
Wow.
very claustrophobic, yeah.
Part of the Underground Railroad?
Well, it's where
No,
he was thrown into a cell and then torn out by
wow.
a crowd,
Yeah.
he was locked up in there. It
Yeah.
was where the marshal at the time, that was his offices, and he had a cell downstairs.
Are they gonna allow them to go into the cellar and
That'd
check
be
that
kind
out?
of cool, I
Jeff
mean,
doesn't own it anymore.
it's a law firm's basement now, basically, but,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
But it's,
That would be.
I had my son with me, and he wouldn't go in there, he was scared to death.
You traumatized him, scared him
I
straight.
think so, yeah.
No.
But it's really cool, the IDA has a history of
So one of the things we're
connection to
also
that building.
trying to do is to include local voices.
Mm-hmm.
So when, these narrative histories that are being told as people walk through
That's so cool.
these locations, we'd love to engage with citizens who want
Yeah.
to have their voices heard.
I'm sure Jeff would love to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Through large
That and anything else.
So question
Quietly, but yeah.
question that I had, to Jeff's point, well, the question I wrote down is there any interaction with the other schools at RPI? Like, my father is on the manufacturing side and runs the advanced manufacturing lab and manufacturing processes. So to Jeff's point, I would encourage you guys to reach out to the School of Engineering and look for support from that manufacturing shop to be able to provide some of the material. I think it would be a great, great story to tell with RPI and any involvement that my father has in the city of Troy, and even myself, as Jeff and I are RPI graduates, both still living in Troy. So I would encourage you to reach out and kind of web that together. But this is a great story. Been here my whole life. I didn't even know about the whole story here. So just learning about it is pretty moving.
Well, that's how we did, we were moved by it too. We had, we saw this plaque and it just gave us this very cursory.
Yeah, it's wild.
And once
Sure.
we delved into it, and the historical figures and Harriet Tubman and the church bells chiming and this crowd of 1,000 people, imagine on that corner.
Yeah.
And ultimately this collective effort to free this person. It's an extraordinary story. And then he goes on, visits his family, moves back with his family, and most of his children went on to be educated. He was illiterate.
Oh.
I mean, he was captured because an attorney was writing to his family on his behalf and came to the conclusion that he was a fugitive. And that's what turned him in. It was an attorney who turned him in. And I don't know if it came through in the presentation, but his half-brother was his owner.
Right.
So,
The story of his dad chasing him down like that is,
it's insane.
it's crazy. Yeah, and then the entire downtown burned 2 years later.
And his brother, Charles.
Part of the story.
Really?
Yeah, the fire of Troy.
Oh.
Yeah, great
When
fire.
the crowd gathered, they were confused by their.
What caused that? Chair. I just have a question about you said the bakery's not there, it's an empty lot.
Yep.
Are there any other addresses that are empty lots? Is that the only one?
No, we also
So-
included in the tour the Underground Railroad,
Yeah.
where Peter Baltimore's barber shop is also an empty lot as well.
Yeah. So my question is, what if somebody were to ever take that lot and build on it?
Well, the idea was to put the plaques on the stanchions out close
Yeah.
to the curb. So it really wouldn't matter if there was a building there or not.
Right.
So will they all be on those stanchions around, at the lots? Okay, so they won't be on the building, not?
No.
Oh, that's good, that's smart,
Some of the
okay.
buildings are inaccessible, like your Gilbert Mansion, you'd have to walk up the stairs, so someone in a wheelchair wouldn't be able to get there,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah,
You want to make them accessible by their height as well, so people can see them, from different vantage points.
yep,
But we worked very, very closely with Kathy Sheehan about this, and she gave us the guidelines for plaques,
yep,
stanchions, and she explained to us the difficulties of going to landlords and asking to mount plaques on their buildings and the problems that might cause. So we decided to separate the two things.
Yep. That's a great idea.
Yeah. What's your timeline for completion?
We would love to complete the project before the end of the spring semester, so that the students who have worked so hard on this can see it come to fruition.
Both Sarah and Susan are graduating.
Yeah.
Graduating. But the other thing I should mention, in addition to the field organization that you made, sir.
Yeah.
The man who does the bronze casting worked for me when I was the director of sculpture at UAlbany. And so he's a local, capital
Nice.
region person, and he will be doing the bronze casting.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah, I just figured on the stainless steel stanchions, they might have that scrap with.
Yeah, right,
Great
it's-
job.
Great suggestion.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think, does anybody else want to make any comment or questions? One thing I want to acknowledge is that this is a significant amount
It's a lot of
compared to
money,
anything that I've seen since I've been on the board.
Mhm.
That doesn't make me uncomfortable, just pointing it out, the significance of it. But any other questions or comments before?
I guess just one question I have, if it doesn't get finished this semester, do you have another group of students that would take it over?
Yeah, but
You'll have it done.
I think frankly, I don't think that everybody's in place.
So you're good to go, all the information's ready to go, everything's good,
They're
yeah.
ready to go.
All right.
We say yes.
All right, cool.
We finish it within a month or two.
It'd be great to turn this into a, maybe not annual thing, but like, we could continue to tell stories through,
I mean, it's an unbelievable story. I mean, even,
and they're.
you talk about Black History Month and everything that goes on, like, this should be a, like Danae said, this could be a movie. I mean, it's an unbelievable story.
It is, and that's
Anything
part of
more
the
people
problem.
don't know about it.
Absolutely.
So, I think between this and the fact that the Underground Railroad is so prominent in the city's
Yeah, the
history,
city of Troy should pick that up and,
know about that.
absolutely.
There's a lot of ways
Yeah.
to tell stories, and I think this is.
That's how you attract people to come in, yeah. No
Exactly,
doubt.
it's all about storytelling, and I think
It's crazy.
it's a great way to do it properly.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for putting this with us.
And this is something that can, actually stand the test of time.
Right.
as opposed to, you know,
History.
just doing, you know.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
You know, some of the other things.
Some event, yeah.
Some event that's been
All right.
flowers or whatever, you know, whatever
Right.
that is, but, you know, this is, you know, definitely on another level, so.
No doubt.
That'll be hosted by RPI, so they've already agreed to host it for it. So
That's
we have a
awesome.
place for it.
Great.
So unless they pull a St. Rose, it'll be up for a long time.
Oh, come on, Jeff.
Oh, get
First off, this is the
down.
wrong room to do that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just surprised at RPI that it's $12,500 to build a website when you got students that could actually do it right there in their seat. I'm just really curious why it would cost that much money to do that with the talent we have at RPI.
Well, because we wanted to develop an aesthetic that is beyond our capabilities. There are people who can design them. This thing has to be incredibly engaging and beautiful. And it also has to have a kind of motion. We want the website to move in the same way that the visitor is moving. So there's a lot that goes into it that's above and beyond conventional web design.
So who's gonna do the web design and the build out?
We have the one.
We have him on,
Yeah, he's waiting to.
Will's behind you
Screen.
on the,
Seen RPI, okay?
Will, yeah.
Hi, how you guys?
How are you?
Doing really good. It's been fascinating to listen to everybody discuss what we've got going on in the city of Troy. It looks like there's a lot of cool projects going on. I'm the founder of Notable. We're a digital experience design firm. We specialize in creating digital experiences for projects that are focused on helping people learn and grow. And it's a real unique opportunity to be able to work with RPI and help bring the Charles Knoll Walking Memorial to life through a digital experience that integrates itself in the physical community. With regard to the website and the budget that we've set aside for that, we would say that about $6,000 of that's going to go to the developments, the actual software writing, so writing code. That would include both the front end and the back end of that. And then from there, we are looking at probably about $4,000 in terms of the design. So actually having the designers sit down, go through the entire experience of Charles Knoll and find a way to turn that into an actual experience that is not just immersive, but educational. And then there's going to be about $2,000 in strategy that's focused on really making sure that we are connecting not just with the community, but with the school and the entire city, and ensuring that all three of those particular stakeholders are aligned and on board and understand the impact of this project and how we can bring everyone together in such a manner that all of these stakeholders will be able to connect with the project. Happy to answer any questions that you guys may have or expand on any of those points.
The actual back-end hosting going to be on RPI's servers, or where does this live?
Yes. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up transferring the whole site to RPI once it's complete.
Because there's legacy costs there for hosting and updating and things like that. So if the Institute's going to host that takes the long-range costs out of it.
Right, it's long-term costs out.
Yep.
in terms of, oh, sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say our goal is to get this project to a point where we can hand it off to RPI and you guys, and it can become fully 100% yours.
Chime in, just to your point, sir, we did develop a website in the class, and it proved not to be satisfactory for the ambitions of the project. So we've already produced it with the skills that the students bring to the table.
Right, you're just trying to elevate it to a different level, sure.
It was not going to be.
I have to tell you, I find this very intriguing, and as you explained, I never knew about this situation with Charles Nally, and I wonder how many other stories that are out there, and I thought this is very intriguing for Troy moving forward as we start to transition. More of the history could be really brought out with these type of plaques that would educate people, with a website that would tell them, the Underground Railroad, the many stories, the Fire of Troy. Baseball team, right? You get the haymakers. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many different things that could be brought to light for people that we could draw attention to Troy. Because after all, we're a city that could really use some monetary help. And the more we bring people in here to get engaged in Troy will help us in the future to create the revenues we need to do better things for everybody in the city. So I'm really intrigued by this, and I would never usually pass the $29,000, but I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it here today for you guys. I like what you put on the table.
This conversation is, my Studio B class does in fact continue. So there's a whole new crop of students that are working, and we've got 3 projects working for the bicentennial. One of them is a feminist sound project on the approach. And so the idea is that as you ascend the staircase of the approach toward RPI, you get history of the women at RPI, and as you descend, you get a history of the women in Troy.
Wow, that is really cool.
Something that our steering committee has approved, and it will be funded by RPI.
Put an escalator in, I don't like.
So just real quick, I think with everything that's happening here, we'd love to continue talking, I think, as long as, and I'll make sure that the board knows even if I'm not here, but I would love to see, every couple of years or every year, maybe another tour, because if you had an app with all these different tours on it that somebody could then go and say, I'm gonna take this tour today with my dog, that would be incredible.
Kathy, when we presented the idea and the technology to Kathy Sheehan, she said that she would like to hitch on to what we're doing now and add features that she was already.
So with the burden,
Any of them, so.
they would, Stephen Barrett, they would love to hear stuff too, so.
No doubt.
Advertise the tours of Troy.
Just in, consideration for time, as we're at the, at the hour, I think you can tell there's a lot of excitement from the board on this to see something like this in front of us.
Call the vote.
Yeah, I think we can call a vote for this, and we're doing a set amount.
Can I just ask one more question? Sorry, Chair.
One second, we're gonna do a set amount despite, obviously receipts could be different, so I don't know if you need to. If you don't need to handle something like that, so you wanna do an up to?
We can amend it to say up to, and it's for the scope that's been laid out forth in the proposal.
Right.
So.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that, so, we'll get to Josh's question, but we're looking at an up to amount of $29,750. Going round it to 30 just to be even. Is that helpful for bookkeeping? We'll round it to $30,000 for,
$29.99.
Yeah, for a resolution for this, but then Josh, your question?
Well, I guess this goes with my question. My question would be, how much is RPI putting in?
As much as we need above and beyond.
Their salaries.
So there's above and beyond this?
No, but I'm saying in terms of its maintenance, long-term maintenance, any expansion to the project, what?
But the 30 grand we would give you today would cover everything?
Everything.
Okay.
We're getting it started.
Yeah.
This is not the end, I think, of this road. I think there's gonna be, to Jim's point before, I think there's a lot of opportunity to carry this forward.
I think, I see a lot of things that could happen in Troy to drag a lot of history out and drag a lot of people into our city.
Well, and especially if if President Schmidt can bring the community together with RPI and piggyback, this is a perfect opportunity for him to do that.
I can tell you with great certainty that he's aware of this project.
Yeah.
And he's very much behind this project. And if it will be very highly publicized by the university.
That's cool.
Cool.
Well, we'll fund this one, they can fund the next one.
Well, let's,
I'm ready to move it
let's bring it to a vote, yeah, absolutely. Do we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Thank you, Sue. Do we have a second?
I'll take second.
Thank you, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Great, congrats, guys. You'll work out the details with Bill and Justin, I'm sure. On to financials with Matt.
Bad TV show.
Yeah.
Depends which board.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I know I'm virtual, but thank you.
Thanks. I'm leaving the microphone.
Great job.
Do a good job, Will.
Thank you very much.
Will, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Great story.
I won't even be here to see the results. I have to go walk around the streets, Troy.
Seeing you again.
Oh, you can do it.
Okay, let's go with Matt, everyone.
Matt has the stage.
All right, first report, statement of financial position. As of November 30th, we have total assets of $391,708 with $176,708 of that in cash. There were no liabilities, so we had a fund balance of $391,708. There were no significant changes to statement of financial position. Lastly, we have our statement of activity. For the month of November, we had a surplus of $156.48. There were no significant sources of revenue, and the largest expense was the monthly accounting fees.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Awesome.
All right.
Any questions or comments for Matt? I would add, there was an article in the Business Journal, Business Review, that Matt was featured in for People on the Move. So.
Oh,
All right,
man. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Where are you going?
No, just
Oh, sweet.
You're just moving up the floor.
He's still here. Yeah.
Guess that's a good thing, right?
Great, do we have a motion to approve the finances?
Police fees are going up.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sue. We have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed? Great. And do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Oh, Sue's got it first, sorry. Second?
Josh. Second.
You're not gonna let you.
Oh, you
Jim got it.
Sorry.
Jim got it. All in
Jim
favor?
got it, yeah, aye.
Aye.
I'll second it with explanation. I just want to say thank you to all of you in here, because it's been a great learning experience for a resident from Troy to come in and be put and empowered to help the city grow through these actions. I would never have known what goes on in this room unless I was invited to be on this team, and I just gotta say, it's been a really great experience for me as a person. And I'm glad to have met all of you, and I think that we'll be seeing each other in the future some way, somehow, somewhere, because I'm gonna still be on the other side of that podium where I don't have to be so politically correct anymore.
You're gonna be coming in.
Don't be easy on Sue, will you, Jim?
Well, that's scary.
No, listen.
You're gonna have to cut him off, Sue.
Who knows, I always deliver my message with a little sugar. I'm not out to twist anybody up at any point in my life, but I certainly want to deliver my point in a proper way, and I'll always do that. But it'll be fun to be able to say what I want to say, and that's what I have to say.
Jim, we're gonna see you come summer, because you're gonna be like, we got this concert series in Lansing, we're gonna need some money for it. Yeah.
You will see me for that again, but most of the time you'll see me at the golf course.
I was gonna say, the golf course will never make it if you move.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it. I love what's happening. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
All right.
All in favor?
Well, we